MeMonster.
Chapter 46. The Next Day. At dawn, after the day's schedule had ended, I wiped the sweat from my chair in the training camp. Suddenly, the sky lit up. Welcome to Pick Me Up. The loading is complete. Touch Select. It was a familiar login message. However, there was also an alert indicating a new announcement. Apology for server errors. A few days ago, an unfortunate disconnection issue occurred. Below that was a post apologizing for the simultaneous disconnection that happened to the masters on the lower floors of the tower, explaining it was because of a sudden server shortage. It was because of that girl who appeared when we were about to clear the 10th floor. I couldn't grasp the entire situation, but I knew it was related to her. Error compensation. 1. Special reward for all masters. 500 gems will be given. 2. Get rewarded even more. 50,000 gold will be given. 3. There's more. Increase your favorability with the heroes. Gift vouchers will be given. And it doesn't end here. All weekly dungeons will be open for 3 days. Andy closed the announcement and went to his mailbox to receive the rewards. Then, he started touching the control screen. Ping! Iseli approached, scattering stardust. Congratulations on your promotion, Loki! Bang! Iseli set off a fireworks he had brought from somewhere. There was no one else at the training camp. Aaron and Dika had been here, but they just left. As she sat there quietly, Iseli tilted her head in concern. You look upset. Is something wrong? I met the original. The original? What do you mean? Iseli was deep in thought. Then her mouth opened wide in surprise. Is it the co-representative director of Mobius? You must be kidding. I lifted her hanging jaw up. Iseli spoke in a trembling voice. How much did she tell you? I summarized the information I heard from that girl about this world and told her. Iseli nodded seriously, even looking a bit concerned. I smiled and said, I don't really care. There's nothing to argue about. I'll climb the tower, you just need to help me with that. Ah, got it. So, what's the matter? It wouldn't have been a trivial matter for Iseli to appear like this. Iseli erased her stern expression and burst into laughter with delight. Then, she took out a golden ticket about the size of her body. Do you know what this is? Let's call it a gift ticket. Whatever you want, you can have it instantly. Iseli held the golden ticket in her hand and swayed her body as if she were dancing. A gift, huh? In Pick Me Up, there was a function called Gift, which allowed players to reward special achievements or give presents to their favorite heroes. Of course, it wasn't free. Depending on the value of the gift, players had to pay gold, and for high-grade rare gifts, gems or premium materials were required. It was similar to the concept of the clock I had requested during the facility's large-scale expansion. Are you giving this to me? More precisely, to the master! Even that foolish guy finally recognized Loki's excellence! Iseli extended the golden ticket towards me. I accepted the ticket and examined it. On both sides of the ticket were engravings of fairies, and in the center was the number 10,000. 10,000 gold or less. Gifts were usually paid for, but if you used a rare gift voucher given out during events, you could use the function for free. He really values me highly. The fact that he only gave me the gift voucher meant he considered me the highest among all the heroes here. In a sense, it was obvious. Not out of conceit, but because it was the truth. As the main character who had cleared 2 consecutive missions that seemed impossible, even if you watched the strategy screen, you would notice that Idis and Ioka's contributions were outstanding, but I was at the center of it all. It must have been fascinating, despite not doing anything particularly special. The heroes somehow managed to survive. I did struggle a bit on the 10th floor, which went beyond the normal difficulty, but I cleared it. The result was even more remarkable. The main members survived without losing anyone except for 2 one-star heroes. After letting out a sigh, I returned the ticket to Isele. I don't need it. Give it to someone else. Han, 2-star, refuses the gift. Isele's eyes widened in surprise as she took the ticket. Are you sure? You can have anything you want. Delicious dishes, gorgeous clothes, beautiful decorations. You can have it all. I don't need everything. The gift shop had more than 1,000 items to offer. Exquisite delicacies made from rare ingredients, lavish attire suitable for nobles, artworks exuding a nostalgic charm. If you raise the conditions a bit more, there are even items that surpass imagination. Of course, such things cannot be bought with a mere 10,000 gold. I got up from my seat and left the training camp. Then I slowly walked back to my lodging. Isele followed me eagerly. Why are you following me? I'm going to sleep. Wait. Isele turned around in place. Stardust scattered from her wings and a small wooden statue appeared. Using the gift voucher to purchase a warhorse statue. Gifting the warhorse statue to Han, 2-star. Tips. You can give gifts to heroes you like. Give gifts to increase the hero's favorability. What's this? It's a gift from the master. A noble warhorse with a proud front leg stance was sculpted. I took the statue and examined it from all sides. The craftsmanship was not bad, and the finishing was well done. There would be heroes who would be pleased to receive this. I casually tossed the statue. It hit the side of a fountain and rolled over, breaking the front leg and separating the upper and lower parts. Isele's mouth hung open in shock. I lifted her hanging jaw once again. Then I closed the door to my lodging and went inside. If you're going to give gifts, give them to everyone. If you give it to only one person, other heroes would become dissatisfied. Although I had the most remarkable performance, it wasn't just my life at stake. Maintaining proper relations with the heroes was the master's basic duty. But to receive a gift voucher and toss it around carelessly, that was unacceptable. A warhorse statue. Every hero had different tastes and desires. Simply handing them any item wouldn't make them happy. I spent hours just learning the preferences and tastes of the top 100 heroes in Niflheim. After getting into bed, the sky darkened. Are he startled? Or perhaps he has no thoughts at all? Sleep eluded me. I must climb the tower. There could be dozens of reasons why I will fail. But what I realized is that there are obstacles waiting for me much more troublesome than the low rank I was assigned and the dirty difficulty of pick-me-up. An internal enemy, not just any internal enemy. If a hero is giving us a headache, I can handle it. Like the incident with the Wolf Fang mercenaries a while ago, I can clear it without anyone noticing. But if the master doesn't come to his senses...
It's still uncertain. It was a matter of speculation, but my guess seems to be about 90% accurate. The overachiever syndrome. It's a term floating around among pick-me-up users. The wording may sound funny, but the results are no joke. Pick-me-up is called a game of luck and misfortune. One of the reasons is that the early difficulty, where the facilities and content are not open, varies greatly depending on the initial draw luck. If you get good heroes, climbing is smooth and pleasant. But if you get stuck with bad heroes, you struggle and roll through all kinds of hardships. What about Anything's case? Objectively speaking, he couldn't be considered lucky. He synthesized the initial 4-star hero, and it was never replaced in the following 5 consecutive draws. Does that mean he's unlucky? No. He worked hard in the early stages of the game. He steadily expanded the facilities, nurtured heroes, and crafted items. He was progressing properly following the strategy I wrote. Things changed after the 5th floor. After clearing missions that should have resulted in a total defeat, he began deviating slightly from the right path. He did 5 paid draws without the right conditions, and without properly nurturing the last members, he threw them into the 10th floor. And he made various other mistakes. People called this an overachiever syndrome because some masters will rely solely on their heroes for strategy which doesn't reflect on their own abilities, and then mistake the hero's abilities for their own. Can I climb to the 100th floor with this kind of guy? Of course not. In the early stages of the game, the master who repeatedly made countless mistakes would be much better. My speculation turned into certainty the next evening. Han, Jenna, Aaron, Yolka. Isel's shout calling the first party members rang through the training ground. Jenna, who was nimbly maneuvering through the wooden doll targets with her dagger, turned around and asked, "Oh, are we going on a mission?" "It seems like it." It wasn't a weekly dungeon. All 4 members were battle-ready. Jenna frowned slightly, prepared herself, and left. Aaron let out a sigh and followed Jenna. Next to the training camp, as the door with magic runes opened, Yolka popped out. Yolka walked out of the training camp, her dress hem fluttering. Her expression was twisted. She didn't seem to be in a good mood. Of course, the repeated training and battles had pushed her stress levels to the limit. In particular, the intense 10th floor was the detonator. I managed to cover it up somehow, but it was only a temporary breather. To resolve this, the master had to step up and take action. The 4 members of the first party gathered in the square. "Open! Rift of time and space!" The door leading to the rift of time and space creaked open. I took the lead. "We'll deal with it quickly and come back out." The 3 followed. The door closed. Is it the 8th or 9th floor? Climbing to the 11th floor in this situation would be a stretch. Although she leveled up, Yolka's level is still low. But since she cleared the 10th floor, the entry restriction has been lifted. It was the right way to level her up as much as possible in the previous stages before attempting to clear the next floor. These were the rules whether it was a 1-star or 3-star hero. Moreover, if you're planning to add 1 more member to the party as a master, then now is the right time. The sooner they joined, the better. It wasn't like they could immediately function as a party just by joining. They needed time to adapt and get along. Climb the tower. Save the world. Main dungeon. Current climbing floor 10. Save the world. So, what are you going to do? Whatever it is, I won't intervene this time. Leaning against the wall with my arms folded, a message indicating the entry floor appeared before me. Main dungeon. Current challenge floor is the 11th floor. The door will open in 10 seconds. Get ready. Huh. It's confirmed. I straightened my neck. Then I drew my sword and held my shield. Get ready. It's the 11th floor. What? As Jenna responded in disbelief, the surroundings darkened. A crescent moon hung in the night sky. The fragments of the moon were scattering moonlight on the place where we stood. The field is a graveyard. Memorial stones for the deceased were erected all around. Amid the eerie and cold air, something creaked and rose with a squeaking sound. Floor 11. Mission type. Subjection. Objective. Annihilate the enemy. 14 level 11 skeletons. The skeletons stood in the graveyard bathed in moonlight. It's a sight that would give an ordinary person goosebumps, but the party members didn't even flinch. We'd been through worse, hellish experiences. Jenna scratched her cheek and said, "Skeletons, huh? They look like they'll break if you just flick them." I smirked. The skeletons surrounded us, their jaw joints creaking. Each of them held weapons like swords, axes, maces, and other military-grade equipment. The skeleton in the front swung its axe. The sound was a bit crude. I evaded the axe and then struck its cervical vertebrae with the edge of my shield. The skeleton, whose bones shattered, couldn't move again. I looked up at the sky. Up there, anything was watching us. First, let's take care of these guys. Take your positions. Yes, Roger. It's a triangular formation like on the 10th floor. I'm in the front, Aaron on the left, Jenna on the right, and Yolka in the center. The fight began in the moonlit graveyard.
Chapter 47. Ignite. Flames burst from Iolka's hand, erupting in a sudden explosion. Skeletons, usually resistant to fire, shattered under the force, their bones scattering across the ground. "These skeletons are a pain," Jenna muttered, delivering a roundhouse kick to one skull. Aaron followed up, swinging his spear and smashing another to pieces. Skeletons weren't strong or agile, but they had their advantages. Piercing attacks were nearly useless. Arrows and daggers barely scratched them. They were also highly resistant to elemental forces, like heat or cold. But their weakness was clear: blunt force. I broke through those that approached, relying mostly on my shield. Thunk. A skeleton collapsed. I stomped on its neck, and its bones crumbled. Alone, skeletons weren't much of a threat. Soon, 14 skeletons lay scattered on the ground. Stage cleared. Han, 2 stars. Level up. Reward: 30,000 gold, 3 C-grade iron ores, and fine bone dust. MVP: Han, 2 stars. It had been a while since I leveled up. Status window. Han Israt, 2 stars, level 11, XP 24 of 110. Class: Novice. Strength: 27 out of 27. Intelligence: 10 out of 10. Health: 25 out of 25. Agility: 25 out of 25. Skills: Low-tier swordsmanship level 6. Projectile defense level 1. Flame resistance level 2. Pain resistance level 3. Composure level 3. Frenzy level 1. Equestrianism level 1. Strength, health, and agility each increased by 2. Intelligence remained the same. Overall, my growth was 6, on par with a top-grade 3-star. The rate wouldn't stay this high, but it was still impressive. Yet, I didn't feel particularly happy. I returned to the waiting room and headed for the plaza. Jenna stretched and walked toward the lodging. "Where are you going?" I asked, chuckling. "I'm going to rest for a bit." Jenna stopped, smiling awkwardly. I'll be back soon. The schedule isn't finished yet." "That's true. Training wasn't over. We still had sparring and cleanup left." I looked up at the sky, then turned to Jenna. "Today's training is over. Go rest in the lodge." "Really? If you don't want to, you can stay." No, I'll go ahead then." She hurried off, probably worried I'd change my mind. Ioka glanced at me, then slipped inside as well. My silence was approval. Normally, I had dragged her back, but this time I let it go. Aaron, however, was still heading to the training ground. "Aren't you going?" "I'm fine. I have a sparring appointment with Asher." "I see." Left alone in the plaza, I sat on a bench and watched Anything's next move. He sent the potential 1-star members into the weekday dungeon, processed rewards and materials, and assigned a few to a sub-party on the lower floor. Then he was done. The action I wanted to see didn't come. After Anything logged out, I went to my room and leaned against the headboard. "Isel." "Here." Isel appeared quickly. "You're quick to come when called." "Well, of course." She puffed out her chest. "So, what do you want?" "I have something I want to know." "Something you want to know?" "What I can answer is..." "You mean you have limits, right? I've already heard almost everything from that girl. Can't you even provide additional explanations?" "Well, it's not supposed to be, but..." Isel was sweating. I knew the information wouldn't be useful for the 10th floor, but I still wanted to know. After a moment, Isel nodded. "All right, I'll make an exception and tell you." "Great." I confirmed that Anything has the overachiever syndrome. But there could be unexpected variables. I needed to try and stop them in advance. First question: what is her name? Her name? I mean your original. My master has more than one name, over 100 million. Each world calls her something different. But in Taoist style, it would be Tel. Tel. Different names in each world. There were Niflheimer-style names and others. When you clear the 10th floor, the waiting room's title is different for each master. Mine was Niflheim, the 4th place was Ragnarseed, and the 3rd was Isekai. If Tel's explanation was true, each master carries the fate of a different world. There were over 100 million worlds, and the number kept growing. Strange. Next question. What is Mobius? Mobius? Are you referring to our company? Our company is... besides the company. Isel hesitated, then answered. It's a spiral universe where numerous worlds are connected in parallel. It was unimaginable, but combining Tel and Isel's explanations, I could infer some things. Pick Me Up wasn't random. Each account had its own missions. Millions of users, billions of draws, yet no duplicate heroes. That's because each master is assigned to a different world. There were common points, civilizations similar to the medieval era, swords and magic, human-like beings, monster races, and the goddess statue. All belonged to Mobius, an unknown dimension. I thought I understood a little bit about that woman's true identity now. Back to the main topic, the real issue. Is anything an ordinary human? Human? I already answered that. Of course. If you're not a human from Earth, you can't become a master. That's not what I meant. Did that woman, Tel, manipulate anything or not? Manipulate? Manipulate the master? Isel's eyes widened. Just wait a moment, I'll find out and come back. Isel disappeared in a shower of stardust. She returned a little later. Don't worry. Anything is a completely normal user with 100% purity. Can I trust that? You can trust it. I got confirmation from another director. If such a thing happened, it would require outrageous conditions and risks. She was a co-representative director, according to her business card. I couldn't fully trust Isel, but not trusting anything would be equally absurd. At least, she drew a line at certain questions. She might be inexact, but she never lied. Okay. Is there anything else you're curious about? If something comes up, I'll ask. All right, then I'm going to sleep. Shoo. The room went dark. I sat on the bed, thinking. I'd set aside the complex issues about Mobius for now. It wasn't time to think about them yet. My concern was the master managing this waiting room. I learned that anything wasn't being manipulated by Tel, so the current situation was due to anything's pure gameplay. That was confirmed. There could be no wrong judgment. Anything had the overachiever syndrome. If it got worse, something bad would happen. It was still early. With the right measures, it could be reversed. The most effective treatment, as claimed by pick-me-up users, was to eliminate the hero the master relied on most, me. This method was rejected. Means and ends couldn't be reversed. No matter what I chose, there were significant risks. Of course, the risk was my death. Even so, there was a solution. I wouldn't just stand by and do nothing. The conclusion was reached. Now all that was left was to act.
The next morning, after a simple meal, I joined the others at the training ground. Training continued as usual, basic physical training in the morning, lunch, then weapon training. As evening approached, it was time for sparring, but there were a few changes. Here I come! Asher, shield up, thrust his sword forward. His stance was good, but he was slow. I dodged and struck back. Suddenly, Roderick appeared, spear in hand, and struck my shield with force. He switched to thrusts, attacking all over, fast and precise. Roderick's level might be lower than Aaron's, but in physique and skill, he'd surpassed him. His spear strikes came in a barrage. I blocked with my shield, deflected with my sword, and dodged what I could. Roderick was a formidable opponent. Asher, regaining his stance, struck my left side. Edis, who'd been hiding, appeared and aimed for a vital spot. The timing was perfect. I couldn't avoid or block it. 3 against 1 is tough. I tapped the floor 3 times with my left foot, a signal. As the short sword was about to slash my right arm, Aaron and Jenna, who'd been watching, joined in.
The sparring shifted from one on many to many on many, a team training exercise. It was also training for chaotic battles, distinguishing allies from enemies, and maintaining teamwork. With more combat-ready heroes, this was possible. Ioka abstained from magic due to the risk. After training, anything logged in. We already knew when he'd log in. As expected, he called for our main party. Han, Jenna, Aaron, Ioka. The four of us gathered in the square. "Floor 12, right?" "This is complete madness," Jenna said, grinning. Aaron looked gloomy. "If it's floor 12, isn't the speed a bit worrying? It's too fast." Floor 11 had been cleared just yesterday. In waiting room time, it was yesterday. In Earth time, not even a day had passed. If anything sent us to floor 12 now, it meant he was attempting a super fast climb, over 2 floors in a day. It was reckless. "Open the rift of time and space." Clunk. Isel reached out, and the front gate of the square opened. The 3 of them stepped inside. I stood outside, arms crossed. "Aren't you coming in, Oppa?" Jenna gestured. Aaron and Ioka waited for me too. It was an order I couldn't accept, but the realization that I couldn't refuse was deeply ingrained. But I had to. I closed my eyes and remembered. Back when I wasn't Baranker in Pick Me Up, the hero who always stood before me whenever I made the wrong choice. That hero staked his life for me. I opened my eyes. "Isel, what floor did anything designate?" Isel replied reluctantly. As I expected. I recalled an instruction from the loading screen. Heroes sometimes make demands or claims to their masters, and sometimes refuse orders. And I said, I refuse to participate. Han, 2 stars, has refused to participate.
Chapter 48. What did you say? Isile's mouth hung open, both wings trembling. I was getting used to seeing her surprised. I smirked. "I'm not going." "Are you serious? Do I look like I'm joking?" "Oppa, what do you mean you're not going? Can we really refuse if asked to go? Isn't it obligatory to go when ordered?" "Didn't I say it? You can refuse. Heroes have the right to reject the master's orders, though they're responsible for the consequences." "I've never heard such a thing. And didn't we see before that people who didn't want to fight were forcibly dragged here?" "They didn't know how to do it. Simply making a fuss won't cut it. You need a clear will and have to think as if you're arguing with the master. Then the hero's intention will show up to the master as a system message. It's one of the know-hows I gained living as a hero here." Isile circled me, worried. "Think again. It's dangerous." "Isn't blindly throwing ourselves into a dungeon also dangerous?" "True, but—" I knew what Isile wanted to say. There are orders a hero can never refuse, the synthesis command. If anything gets angry and can't stand it anymore, I'm obliged to be synthesized. Unlike a hero, Isile, as the waiting room's representative, can't refuse the master's order. But I had no intention of yielding. My mind was set. I'm not going. "What are we supposed to do then? Fight without you?" Ioka cried out. "It's up to you. I won't stop you." The 3 of them in the rift fell silent, looking bewildered. A moment of confrontation passed. Aaron, who had been bowing his head, seemed to make up his mind. He straightened a spear and walked toward the plaza. "If Youngnam is not going, I won't go either." Aaron, 1 star, refused to participate. "If there's such a good thing, you should have said it earlier. So frustrating." Jenna followed. Jenna, 1 star, refused to participate. "What am I supposed to do alone here?" Finally, Ioka darted out of the rift as if fleeing. Ioka, 3 stars, refused to participate. First party is inoperable. Tips: heroes may occasionally go on strike. You can resolve this by meeting their demands or punishing the troublemakers. Punish the troublemakers. Isile flapped her wings in fear. This tip wasn't from me." "I know. Chill." "So, what are you going to do, Oppa?" "Let's wait and see. Let's see how the master responds." Anything seemed quite surprised and didn't move the manipulation window. He probably never imagined a hero would go on strike. In other mobile games, this would never happen. If he'd studied the strategies, he might have known, but he probably got tired and stopped reading. In that case, he wouldn't find the right solution either. I didn't have high expectations. After a while, anything made the expected choice. Isekai, who received orders from the master, shouted, "Edis, Roderick, Asher, Dika." A little later, the second party gathered in the plaza. Edis approached me puzzled. "Weren't you going? Why did you call us?" We decided not to go. "What? How could—" I explained to Edis that they could choose not to participate if they wished. After listening, Edis murmured, "That's risky." "I know. If we can't prove our worth to the master, I know, we'll die." "Do you think the master will be pleased if we don't follow orders? Are you willing to die if the master tells you to die? Weren't we fighting to stay alive?" Edis didn't answer. Of course not. There was no such thing as loyalty among the heroes in this waiting room. They were simply fighting, half unwillingly, to stay alive. Edis returned to her party. They seemed to be discussing the matter. About a minute later, "We'll go. We need to grow. I don't want to be synthesized." Looking back, Dika's complexion was still poor. He hadn't recovered from the 10th floor. It would take more time for him to regain his condition. The second party entered the rift. I sat on a nearby bench. Growth, huh? If anything's goal was developing the party, I wouldn't have needed to object. He wouldn't have needed me. There were plenty of members who hadn't reached my level yet. Exploring the lower floors was fine, but that wasn't the issue. What will happen to us from now on? Jenna, leaning in close, asked, "Well, we'll figure something out." "Figure something out? That's not like you, Oppa." "I can tell you one thing. If I die from synthesis, you should immediately stop this nonsense and follow the master's orders. If not, you'll die too." Jenna clapped her hands. "Hey, Oppa, you won't die." "That's what I hope, and I have to admit, you're quite stubborn. These kids have grown a lot." At that moment, a message appeared in my vision. "Dika, 1 star, is bleeding. Health decreases at regular intervals." As expected, this was going to happen. Edis's second party, which hadn't fully recovered, was struggling. The stage must be the 12th floor. Unlike the 11th, it seemed much harder. Asher, 2 stars, is bleeding. Health decreases at regular intervals. Dika, 1 star, is afflicted by fear. Messages about the party's deteriorating state kept appearing. One fortunate thing, no death messages. Although Asher and Dika were semi-incapacitated, the other 2 3-star members seemed to be hanging on. A little later, with the stage clear message, the second party returned. Edis's face was contorted with intensity. "How did the growth go?" "Asher and Dika can't even walk." Roderick supporting them. "Han, what?" "Teach me how to refuse orders." "That's easy." I smirked and explained the know-how. Edis took a deep breath, looked up at the sky and said, "The second party won't participate either." Edis, 3 stars, refused to participate. In well-unified parties, the leader's decision could become the decision of the entire party. Another message appeared. Second party is inoperable. Choosing Edis as the sub-party leader was the right decision. Her refusal was a sign she was thinking about the future, not just a temporary protest. Edis put away her daggers and returned to the lodging with her teammates. There was a lot of displeasure in her footsteps. "Oh no, this situation is getting bigger than I thought." Isekai didn't know what to do. It was a big problem. Both main parties were now inoperable. Anything lost control of most functions. It was as if the waiting room had come to a halt. Anything was logged in, but it stopped manipulating anything. I got up from the bench and walked to the lodging. The 3 followed closely. "We won't follow the master's orders, but we'll keep training as usual. We won't stop training." "Well, if we don't have to go, it might be better to strengthen ourselves. We have a lot of time now." "Ugh," Yoka groaned. She was diligent with magic, but nearly neurotic about physical training. But there was no other way. "We'll go to the weekly dungeon, though. They've all opened up just now."
We could go to the weekly dungeon even with autonomous action. All dungeons were open for 3 days as error compensation. We needed to collect materials, replenish potions used on the 10th floor, and promote Jenna and Aaron to 2 stars. The routine didn't change. Just because we refused the main missions didn't mean we'd slack off. We had to prepare so we could fight whenever necessary. Anything who had stopped manipulating for a while soon logged out. After that, as I was looking at the strategy table in my room, Izel appeared anxiously. "What if the master quits?" "If he wants to quit, let him quit. If he only has that much determination, there's no way he'll reach the top." "What if he synthesizes you, Loki?"
I guess it's better to go without suffering too much and die, rather than suffering through it all. Dealing with a large-scale protest isn't actually that difficult. As mentioned in the tips, there's an influential hero leading it. Just synthesize him away. Morale will hit rock bottom, but after that, they won't refuse orders. Morale can be restored with gifts or facilities like rest areas, though I doubt anything has that kind of sense. There are other methods too. The gentlest is to identify the hero's issues and soothe them, but I don't expect much from this either. If he had that mindset, things wouldn't have turned out this way. So there's only one option left for anything. The next day, I called the party members early and headed to the weekly dungeon. We needed attribute stones for promotion. Ioka and I went together. Jenna and Aaron formed the other pair, each to a different dungeon. I obtained a lesser fire attribute stone. After the dungeons, we continued training. My low-tier swordsmanship was already level 6. It wouldn't rise much through normal training anymore. I had to find similarly skilled opponents or impose penalties. I gave Ioka special instruction to train her telekinesis magic. She protested wanting to use only fire magic, but when I threatened to feed her only potatoes, she quieted. If she could use telekinesis freely, she'd be able to defend herself even if we weren't around. That day, anything didn't log in. Several days passed. Around the time Izel grabbed me terrified, asking what we do if anything really quit the game. Welcome to pick me up. Loading completed. Touch, select. Anything logged in. It was late after training. I was drinking tea with Edis in the lobby, looking up at the sky. Edis said, "Did he change his mind?" There's no way. If that syndrome could be healed so fast, it wouldn't have gained such a reputation. Since both Party 1 and Party 2 were unable to participate, there were limited things the Master could do. However, it seemed anything had made a decision. His control panel was moving quickly. Soon a message popped up. Master, starting advanced summon. You have chosen 3 consecutive advanced summons. A total of 1,500 gems will be consumed. Will you summon? Yes. It's here. It's the third method to resolve the protest, changing the party composition. Anything still had gems left from before, plus 500 gems from error compensation. Master, starting advanced summon. I'm excited to see which heroes will appear. Tak tak. Tuchang. Rare. Master Anything has obtained Hero Stein, 3 stars. Rare. Master Anything has obtained Hero Magel, 3 stars. Rare. Master Anything has obtained Hero Tashir, 3 stars. Looks like he's trying to say, even if you don't want to, there are plenty of people willing to work for me. I finished my tea.
Chapter 49. Light streamed from the open door of the inn. I already knew what was happening from the message, but Edis did not. I glanced outside and spoke. It seems the new recruits have arrived. I see. Then if people like Roderick and Eolka are here, it would be time for a draft? We're not doing a draft. There's no need, and they won't even be able to join our party. What? Wait and you'll see. I set down my teacup and stood up, heading out to the square. At the entrance to the square's summoning portal, 2 men and a woman were gathered. Could we talk? No need for violence. I don't want to. He stinks, and you stink too. Understand? What did you say, you bitch? I'm being nice to you. Just because I'm a woman, you think I'm an easy target? You're a joke of a man. The 2 immediately drew their weapons. Magel, 3 stars, shows hostility towards Tashir, 3 stars. Tashir, 3 stars, shows hostility towards Magel, 3 stars. Hostile relationship established. Observe the heroes' interactions carefully. As soon as they appeared, it was a spectacle. I couldn't help but laugh. Hey, by any chance, are you the first ones here? A young man in polished armor with a sword approached. He looked more like a boy than a young man, with a hint of youth in his features. Yes, I replied. And I'm Stein Lastoff, an apprentice knight. Would you mind if I join you two? These guys don't listen to me. No way I'd listen. Who asked for a boy like you, acting all arrogant, to order us? What did you say? I agree. Who would listen to a spoiled young noble like you? Look at your face. Call yourself a knight? I bet your mama has a pretty face, too. Bring her to me. I'd listen to her. I can forgive insults against me, but insults against my parents are unforgivable. Stein, 3 stars, shows hostility towards Majel, 3 stars, and Tashir, 3 stars. Clang! Drawing his longsword, Stein rushed at the two. What started as a standoff between 2 became a standoff between 3. What's going on? Why are those people acting like that? Edis, who came out lady, looked bewildered. Their personalities don't match. Even among heroes, compatibility matters. Some heroes gain bonus abilities together, while others decrease each other's abilities. Still, cases where hostility is established immediately and escalates to combat are rare. I'll teach this arrogant brat some manners, Tashir, a rough-looking man, said. Tashir's chain safe spun in spirals as he fired it at Stein. Clang! The chain safe hit an invisible barrier and faltered. What's wrong with these idiots? Are you crazy? Want to die? Isel, who appeared belatedly, widened her eyes. Who are you? I'm Isel, the master's representative. Don't get cocky. I'm much older than you. Master? Stein frowned, as if remembering something. Anyway, don't fight recklessly in the waiting room. I won't warn you again. Understand? Then keep me away from this noble and that ruffian. We don't get along. If I were to form a party, I want that guy. Majel pointed at me. Majel, with heavy makeup and a form-fitting dress, held a serrated sword in her right hand. She didn't seem old enough to call me Oppa. You don't decide the party. The master does. Isel dismissed Majel's demand and disappeared with a poof. The party composition window appeared. Forming a party. Drag and drop the heroes. Stein, 3 stars, joins Party 3. Majel, 3 stars, joins Party 3. Tashir, 3 stars, joins Party 3. Is he really trying to form a party with those 3? Heroes with established hostility in the same party? Efficiency would be at its worst. While relations can improve over time, anything wouldn't consider that. Open, the rift of time and space. In this situation, these 3 wouldn't work together, maybe even worse. I sighed and headed back to the inn. There was no need to watch any longer. Edis followed and asked, Han, where are you going? I need some sleep. What about those people? They won't be coming back. I entered my room and sat on the bed. As expected, system messages appeared. Tashir, 3 stars, has entered a state of madness. Ally attack. Stein, 3 stars, is bleeding. Health will decrease periodically. Stein, 3 stars, has entered a state of madness. Ally attack. Madness status disorder. They perceive allies as enemies. Isel might be able to stop this in the waiting room, but not on the stage. Majel, 3 stars, has entered a state of madness. Ally attack. I didn't know which floor they were sent to, but it wasn't a low one. Stein, 3 stars, eliminated an ally. Tashir, 3 stars, has returned to the embrace of the goddess. His determination will forever be remembered. Tashir was the first to die. Then the second death message appeared. Majel, 3 stars, has returned to the embrace of the goddess. Her determination will forever be remembered. Stein, 3 stars, falls into despair. All attributes are reduced by 80%. A moment later, Stein, 3 stars, has returned to the embrace of the goddess. His determination will forever be remembered. Party 3 has been wiped out. You lose. Without finishing a single battle, Party 3 was wiped out. It was the first wipeout since the previous free 10 draw. The cost? The deaths of 3 3-star heroes. Master, would you like to end your connection? Yes. Then goodbye. Master, would you like to end your connection? Yes. Then goodbye. The moment the wipeout message appeared, anything disconnected. Isel, tears welling in her eyes, appeared. Loki! What? What do we do? What do we do? Is Master really quitting? He might quit. Then what about me? What about us? Tell me, what will happen if he quits? If the Master doesn't log in for a certain period, the account gets deleted. Loki knows it too. You can't let this happen. I see. I knew if you don't log in for 6 months in real time, the account disappears. Recovery is not possible. In waiting room time, that's about 1.5 years. Without the Master, the waiting room can't be maintained. I won't be able to interfere either. I'll disappear. I haven't even been alive for long. Don't jump to conclusions. Nothing's confirmed yet. But still, even if anything disappeared now, I could fill his place somewhat as a half-master, but it wouldn't be perfect. I still needed anything. I grinned. Don't worry. If he were going to quit, he would have done it when he synchronized that 4-star. Really? I nodded. Oh, I see. Then I'll trust you. But why are you so desperate? Are you going to die if you don't climb the tower? Yeah. Die? Disappear. It seemed pointless to ask further. After Izal left, I fell into thought. When anything returns, should I lift the strike or continue it? I sounded confident, but the possibility of him quitting wasn't zero. If that happened, I'd be in trouble. Wait a moment. 6 months. Niflheim. Do I have enough time? I furrowed my brows and came to a conclusion.
I won't lift the strike. For a quick climb, a solid foundation is essential. Unless it's confirmed that anything has fully changed his mind, it's necessary to maintain it, even if the results aren't good. A more definite failure is needed. Close to, or equivalent to, almost quitting. All I could do now was wait for the next opportunity. The next evening, anything logged in earlier than usual and immediately brought up the control window to recharge gems. A payment notification appeared. If you want to buy, you can make a payment right away. Mobius supports the Master's Choice. Gold Triple Package has been selected. Package contents, 5,000 gems, 3 gift vouchers. All of this for only 90,000 won. This amount will be added to next month's phone bill. Would you like to proceed with the payment? Yes. Having collected rewards from the mailbox, anything immediately started the paid draw. Master, advanced summoning is starting. I'm excited to see which heroes will appear. Talk, talk, drululu, thud. Rare. Master Anything has acquired the hero Noken, 3 stars. Rare. Master Mkenna has acquired the hero Winad, 3 stars. Rare, Master Anything has, as expected, it's a triple summon. I understood why there were 3. There were some 1-star heroes in the training ground who couldn't fit into any party. What you need to do is assemble a party by combining lower-tier heroes and higher-tier heroes. People pick up this strategy from forums and try to follow it, but they do it without understanding the principles. I chuckled. If a sparrow tries to follow a falcon, its liver will get ripped apart. If you're going to do it like this, you might as well go for a quintuple summon. This time, the 3 heroes weren't the worst combination. While one ended up in a critical state, they completed the test safely. It seemed they understood their roles. Anything gave the 3 of them gift vouchers from the gold package. Including the 2 1-star heroes who were idling around, a party of 5 was formed. The completed Party 3 immediately started leveling up as they rolled through the lower floors. A few days later, Jenna, who had been running after me in the training ground, spoke up. Isn't this getting dangerous? What? Those people! Our spots could be taken by them. I glanced at a corner of the training ground. The members of Party 3 were gathered there, engaged in a simulated battle. 3 3-star heroes against 2 1-star heroes who were clearly lagging behind. With each swing of the long swords, bruises formed on the bodies of the 1-star heroes. It was more abuse than a simulated battle. Leave them be. One of the 3-star members of Party 3 met my gaze and came closer, then looked away nervously. While those 3 weren't running wild, they weren't kind either. They started causing trouble from the first day, so Edis and I spared some time to teach them a lesson. Of course, the lesson was enough for them to understand who's in charge, while making sure they didn't die. More time passed. Party 3 continued to grow steadily without any eliminations. 2 swordsmen, 1 spear user, and 2 archers. They were no mages, but the balance wasn't bad. Anything's plans seemed to be working. Why aren't those guys leaving already? They've been rejected by the Master. Once we grow a bit more, we'll be able to take them on. Oh, except for the female mage. We should put her in our party. Isn't our party already full? There are 2 useless ones. We can just kick one out.
"Oh, that's interesting plan." I came behind him and said, "That's right, Nokin, who had been gossiping in the dining area, turned around and was startled to see me. He was a level 8 3-star hero and the leader of Party 3. Nokin, sweating, said, "What are you doing here?" "Just came for a drink and heard you talking about random stuff." "It's nothing. Ha 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 ha. Shall we head to bed?" The 3 members of Party 3 scattered like flies. Teamwork was non-existent no matter how you looked at it. They didn't even treat the 1-star heroes in their party like people. Still, anything must be satisfied. In many ways, they might be sloppy, but Party 3 cleared the 14th floor. It seemed like the 13th and 14th floors were easy. The 12th floor must have had a challenging recoil, or maybe they were just lucky. I checked with Edis, but there were no signs of a stream this time. The 15th floor seemed to be a mission that could be resolved with only 1 party of 5. None of the members of Party 3 had surpassed level 10, but anything was planning to challenge it. He had always done so and had never failed. And the moment Party 3 clears the 15th floor, just as Nokin had ensured, we would merge. If there's an alternative solution, there's no need to waste time on heroes who don't listen. I took a sip of water and returned to my room. I didn't care. I knew it wouldn't be long before I could witness an interesting sight. That moment would be the turning point.
Chapter 50. Preparations for conquering the 15th floor were steadily underway. Auxiliary weapons were provided to the members of Party 3, and their equipment was further reinforced. Outwardly, they seemed to be honing their skills just like us, spending long hours at the training camp. "Aren't you supposed to do something about this?" Yolka, running alongside me, asked me. She'd improved her stamina enough to talk while running. "If they keep going like this, we'll get caught up. I don't know what, but you need to do something." "Let them be. But if you want to change parties, I won't interfere." "I don't want to join them. They're so unpleasant." "Then wait until the opportunity comes." "Have you learned enough about telekinesis power to use it?" "Of course. Can't you tell?" Yolka's eyes glowed blue. A sandbag in the corner of the training ground floated in the air. She could even cast it while moving. The stat window now showed a skill called Lesser Telekinesis Power, a significant advancement from when she first arrived. Still, she was a mess with fire magic. I surveyed the training ground. The members of Party 1 were running after me. Party 2 was conducting formation training on the left side. Party 3 on the right was engaged in combat training. In a corner, a few 1-star individuals who couldn't fit in anywhere awkwardly swung swords. An active group of more than 20 people. The training ground, which once felt spacious, now seemed narrow. Free draws were being conducted at intervals, and the waiting room was packed. It was about time to create a 3rd-tier facility. But anything didn't seem to have that intention. After clearing the 10th floor, some facilities that were previously unavailable had been unlocked, but none had been built. I sighed and started my push-ups. The members of Party 3, led by Nokin, began to reveal their true colors, realizing the master favored them. It was still minor, like taking extra servings of meat or hogging the sofa in the lobby, but if they succeeded on the 15th floor, it would escalate. A few days later, Party 3 gather at the plaza. Isel's voice resonated throughout the waiting room. "Hey, is it finally happening?" Nokin, striking a wooden doll, muttered. Excitement was clear on their faces. "Let's go. Anything special?" Winard cracked his knuckles, his expression full of confidence. The lower floors must have been manageable. Since mission assignments were random, it was possible to get an easy one. I doubt they knew a boss stage came every 5th floor. It was natural. They hadn't been told. Ping! A sound like tearing wind came from somewhere. I turned my gaze. An arrow was flying toward my left shoulder. I was in the middle of shield and sword training. "Oppa! Danger!" I released the sword and caught the arrow bare-handed. My skin scraped and a bit of blood oozed, but a refreshing sensation spread through my mind, the familiar skill of skill advancement. Twing! Han, 2 stars. Projectile defense skill has increased to level 2. What's dangerous? Nothing. I flicked the arrow away and sheathed my sword. Training ends here today. We've got something interesting to watch. Can't miss it. To think of it, it seems like Party 3 is heading out, Aaron said. You're going too? If Hyungnim's going. Me too, me too. Jenna and Aaron folded their weapons. Yoko was busy training with telekinesis power in the magic hall, so I decided not to disturb her. The plaza was crowded with people, including support staff like Chloe and Enoch. I'd seen a scene like this before, when the Fang Wolf was deployed. Edis, who had arrived early, murmured, "No one was here when we went to the 10th floor." That's a good thing. I took a seat on a bench. Jenna and Aaron sat beside me. Here you go. Isel, pushing a cart from the warehouse, tossed potions to Party 3. Noken accepted a glass bottle filled with red liquid. Potions flew through the air, 3 in total. Noken, 3 stars, is equipped with Lesser Vitality Potion. Waynard, 3 stars, is equipped with Lesser Vitality Potion. These were hard to obtain, Jenna pouted. The ingredients for those potions were collected by us in the weekly dungeon. I hadn't intervened in the potion-making process. Anything managed to make only 3 after failing more than 10 times. It was expected, since we didn't have a professional alchemist. To think they'd give away what we obtained for our own use. The master really is something. If we need more, we can just gather more materials. True. Open rift of time and space. Clank! The door at the front of the plaza opened. The 2 one-star individuals, hesitant, entered first. Then the 3-star members followed. Noken, the leader, went in last. Before entering, he looked at me and said, You jerk, you insolent jerk. When I come back, I'll deal with you. I'll complain to the master and make a scene. Just wait and see, ha ha ha. With that word, Noken hurried inside as if escaping. The door closed. He's quite the character, Edis chuckled, poking my side. That's if you can come back. I chuckled too. Whether things would turn out as Noken said, time would tell. What happens if those guys succeed? Aaron asked, who had been quiet. He looked composed, but his gaze wavered. Breaking the 15th floor, you mean? Yes. We'll have to lift our strike, since we could end up dead. The possibility of Party 3 breaking the 15th floor wasn't zero. While the pick-me-up system was generally challenging, there was a very low chance of an easy mission. Sometimes a party sent out to die actually cleared the mission. If it happened, even with the probability less than 1%, our protest would be useless. Anything would be convinced of his methods, and the need to listen to our demands would disappear. If they do come back, do everything the master orders. Don't resist. Of course, by then I'd probably be dead. Preparations were over. I sat on the bench and waited for the results. The people who had gathered in the plaza returned to their places, anxious. It seemed like they were hoping Party 3 wouldn't return. About 5 minutes had passed since Party 3 entered the 15th floor. The plaza was nearly empty. We couldn't see how the mission was progressing, but it was clear the crisis hadn't struck. There were no messages popping up. With sound effects, several messages appeared in succession. Mission failed. Target, annihilation. Noken, 3 stars, has returned to the embrace of the goddess. His determination will be remembered eternally. Waynard, 3 stars, has returned to the embrace of the goddess. His determination will be remembered eternally. Zaylan, 3 stars, has returned to the embrace of the goddess. His determination will be remembered eternally. Robero, 1 star, has returned to the embrace of the goddess. His determination will be remembered eternally. Juan, 1 star, has returned to the embrace of the goddess. His determination will be remembered eternally.
Party 3 has been annihilated. You lose. It hadn't even been 10 minutes since they entered. A special mission, perhaps? All 5 died simultaneously. There were no abnormal conditions like bleeding or cardiac arrest that usually occurred before death. Kuguang. A temporary vibration ran through the entire waiting room. Jenna swayed in her seat. What's happening? Why all of a sudden? Zap. With a sizzling sound, a blue current ran along the plaza's wall. Isel came out, pale-faced. Master threw his phone. Really? Master, would you like to end the connection? Yes. Then goodbye. Anything ended the connection.
Isel grabbed onto my clothes, trembling. I think we're in big trouble. What should we do? There are a lot of people watching, so let go for now. I detached Isel from my sleeve and spoke to the people looking at me. The spectacle is over. Let's go back. What about Party 3? They're wiped out. They hadn't even started, yet they were obliterated. They probably didn't even get a hint about the 15th floor strategy. It was a total disaster. Edis murmured, disappointed. It hasn't been that long since they went in. Their abilities must have been limited to that extent. Anyway, our business here is finished. There was no need to stay in the plaza. I returned to my lodging. After that, anything didn't log in for a long time. Isel came to my room every evening, asking what to do, sobbing softly. Crying wouldn't change anything. Regardless of the situation, I did what I could. It was the first principle I set to survive here. The routine remained unchanged. Waking up in the morning, training after meals, training again until evening. It had been a long time since I'd been in an actual battle. To keep my skills sharp, we sparred with real weapons. More than a week passed. The one-star members, except for the main ones, disappeared. The fear of synthesis had vanished. Fewer people trained in the field and fewer went to the weekly dungeon. Time passed again, 10 days on the waiting room's calendar. In reality, it had been more than 3 days since the last login. Suddenly, lights lit up the sky for no reason. Welcome to Pick Me Up. And the familiar login message appeared. He came. I had been waiting. Loading is complete. Touch selected. It was dawn. I was the only one left in the training ground. Boom, boom. Flashes burst in the shining sky. Click. A screenshot has been taken. The image will be saved in the gallery. Master, would you like to end the connection? Yes. Then, goodbye then. Anything, who had logged in after a long time, took a screenshot and left. From login to log out, it didn't even take a minute. I put my sword back in its sheath, left the battered wooden statue, and headed out of the training ground. I walked quickly and called out, Isel! Isel! Isel appeared, rubbing her eyes. Instead of her usual black dress, she wore pajamas with a white cat design and a furry hat. Why did you call? I was sleeping. Oh, well, Master has logged in. Yeah? Master, what did you say? Isel was suddenly wide awake, looking around. Where? Where is he? What happened? Where is he? He just left. After such a long time of not logging in, why didn't you do anything? Don't tell me he just logged in and logged out. I can't do anything. But he took a screenshot. Why a screenshot? Why do you think? To have a memorial photo? That wouldn't make sense. I closed the door. Isel stared at me confused. What's your hobby, Isel? I told you it was web surfing last time. Why are you asking? Because I want to verify if you can access the internet. Well, of course. Wait, why? I said, I need your help a bit. At this point, there could only be one reason to take a screenshot. He's going to ask for help in the strategy cafe.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like the video. Have a suggestion? Let me know in the comments.